And I was born in 1841, 175 years old.
This is my family. I'm from Brimfield, so my name is Ellen Brimfield Rowe Nichols. So you can guess that I had more than one husband. My name is Sarah Jean Bradner. I was born in 1819 on a farm in New York State.
My name is Luther Lyon, and I was born in 1842 right here in Plymouth Township. Not only was I born here, but I lived and farmed here. I raised 8 kids here, and I died here.
My name is Dr. Albert Patterson. Practiced medicine for a few years. Didn't have too many exciting things. Did have one interesting thing. Had one lady that got kicked in the head with a mule and bit her tongue clean off.
You're in a very old part of the cemetery. I am Marcy Embry Sturkey, and I have been dead for over 100 years and have resided right there with my family for those 100 years.
And if you can imagine, I am now a captain's wife. I was wine, dined, we had parties, we had get-togethers with all of the officers' wives. It was a lovely, lovely time in Washington. And the height of it was getting invited to Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration ball. And I, in my ball gown, was escorted by my lovely captain, Mr. Rowe, to meet the Lincolns at their inaugural dinner.
It was a Model 1861 Springfield rifle. It was rifled, and it shot a .58 caliber bullet. Now, that's .58 caliber. It's called a mini ball. And can you imagine? Almost a 3/4 of an inch diameter bullet hit me.
Things were okay around here until the Depression hit. At that point in time, even as a public health official, there wasn't a whole lot I could do. They gave me a bunch of quarantine cards, and that was about the extent of what I had. We had a diphtheria outbreak. We had a scarlet fever outbreak. We had a typhoid fever. The first year of the Depression, we had 75 cases of typhoid fever in Plymouth. I had no antibiotics or anything to treat it with now, but I'm happy to say we didn't lose a single case. Not one single bit of business that I sent to my brother-in-law.
I was on the school board. I was the treasurer of the school board. I was the president of Kiwanis. I would be a founding member of the Plymouth Historical Museum. I would be one of the first guys to be there every day when my hands were healthy and my hands were good enough to pound the nails and to cut the boards to build the entire Main Street that you see if you ever get a chance to go into the museum. That museum means a lot to us. Our family, my family, the one I was brought into, they came out to this community in 1825. They were the first founders, they were the first pioneers who cut through the forest and made a town. And I was fortunate that I got to call it home for as long as I did.
Well, my mother married a Mr. Dix. I was living with my uncle out in Dearborn. He had a tavern house out there, and I got to meet a lot of travelers. And from those travelers, I got the bug that I wanted to travel. And so when I grew of age, I traveled. I went to Chicago. That was traveling back in my day, folks. Went to Chicago, and I got a job with the Chicago Northwestern Railroad. I was a brakeman. And for a good number of years, I worked hard, saved my money, but what was I doing? I was working outside. And I started to feel like I was following in my father's footsteps. So I said, nope, I'm on nothing of this. I packed up and I moved back to Plymouth, and I decided that I was going to go into business.
However, the first few years were uneventful on our farm. Children were born, some died, crops were planted and harvested. There was an easy rhythm to our life. That's usually the way with farmers, you know. We had a good life, good neighbors, and a good home. Well, it was about 1850 that the Plymouth Plank Road was chartered. It went from Plymouth all the way to Detroit.
And my mother, she passed when I was very young. Didn't know her that well. It was just my father and I. He was a carpenter by trade. Some of his tools right behind him. We lived there until 1849. I was 10 years old. And things were getting very congested in our little town. There were over 500 people, would you believe? 500 people in that town. Too many people for us. So we had to move on. My father had the idea, well, I've heard tell from all the folks that received letters from Michigan, their relatives in Michigan. They're doing very well. A lot of settlers are going there. Good work for a carpenter. So my father grabbed me and off we went.
So in 1889, I was offered a job right down in the middle of the state by Mount Pleasant, Eaton Rapids Cheese Company. I took it. And things were going well, because I could at least make a name for myself in Michigan. I get closer to the cheese capital. Keep my name out there. Things look great. But after a year of working out in Eaton Rapids, I received a letter from home. The family business wasn't going so well. My brother and sisters were struggling with it. I had to make a choice. Do I stay here? Do I go home? Bessie and I moaned it over. Went home. We did the right thing.
Soon after that, my father made my mother and him a bed out of straw, rope, and some fabric. So they were very happy with their 2 pieces of furniture and few dishes. I was born in 1829, about 3 years after they had settled down there. I had brothers and sisters. I had 2 brothers and 1 sister. We were very happy in our home, and finally, when we were a little bit older, my father built us a second floor to the home. So we got our own room. Well, we all shared one, but we had our own room. We went up to the second floor by ladder. Soon we got a kitchen, and we thought we were pretty well off.
Hello, I'm Martha Messer. You may not recognize my name. There are no schools or streets named after us, and we didn't have any big businesses. We did set a record, though. We had 10 children, which makes it memorable. Both Philip and I were born in Germany. I in 1847, Philip in 1830. Both our families immigrated to the state of New York. I was only 2 when my family arrived. Philip was much older. When Philip was 33, he proudly enlisted in the Civil War in New York's 149th Battalion and went off to fight. He fought valiantly, was a proud soldier, but sadly after 1 year,